of the Always Believe House. Oh, today we're going to have more rock and roll fun because we're going to continue solving quadratic equations with factoring. Oh, and what is it going to be? It's going to be F-U-N, fun, fun, fun. Ho, ho, ho. So a magical whiteboard appears, and let's start rocking and rolling on these F-U-N, fun problems. Oh, okay, so let's go to number one. I'm going to zoom in. Remember, we are just factoring these problems, right? There's no A term on this problem, so you're just going to take your C, write it over to the right, get your factors. I can do this really quickly. 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. If you can't do that, you're going to graph 12 divided by x on the calculator and hit Control-T. That will give you the factors, right? Now then, we want these factors to add up to a positive 7, so the 3 and the 4 work. Write your largest factor first, your smallest factor second, and then you want to add and get a positive 7. So how can we add these up and get a positive 7? We're going to do plus 4 and plus 3, aren't we, right? Okay, now then on the bottom of this, we're going to write in what you multiply to get x squared by. The opposite of multiply is divide, so we're going to divide both of these by x. And this right here is going to be my factors, okay? So my factors are going to be x plus 4 and x plus 3 equals 0. Then you set each factor equal to 0. And you just solve for x. So my x is going to be a negative 4 and a negative 3, right? Okay, remember, these are your factors and these are your zeros. There's a big difference between the two, okay? Piece of cake. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Okay, well, let's go down to number 6. Number 6 is a little bit harder because you got to solve it for 0. You can't do these problems unless you solve them for 0. So the x is going to move over to the 12x, and the negative 24 is just going to move across. So I'm going to set a minus x, and then put plus 24, and then just put plus 24 over here, right? So the x squared drops. 12 minus 1x, or 12 minus x, is plus 11x. Let me change that up. And then plus 24 equals 0. Oh. There's no A term, so you're going to take the 24, put it over here, write the factors of 24, 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Then you want to get the pair that works. We want to add and get 11. So which set of factors adds up to 11? It's the 3 and the 8. Put the factors in order, big to large, put 8 and 3. And what do you do to 8 and 3 to get the 11? We're going to put a plus and a plus. The opposite, or what do you multiply to get x squared? X and x. And so these right here are my factors. So I'm going to have x plus 8 and x plus 3 equals 0. These are my factors. Now then, set each one equal to 0. So x plus 8 equals 0 and x plus 3 equals 0. If you move over the 8, move over the 3, you're going to get x equals negative 8 and negative 3. Remember that your factors, plus 8 plus 3, and your zeros are going to be opposite signs, okay? Your factors and your zeros will be opposite signs. If there's a number in front of x, you're going to have a fractional 0, okay? Keep going on. Oh. F-U-N, fun, fun, fun. Now then, number 9, we're going to move that 3x over to the x, and we're going to move the negative 1 to the 46, right? We're going to combine our variables and combine our constants. So we're going to subtract 3x from both sides. We're going to move the 1 over by plus 1. Now then, I'm going to have x squared minus 4x minus 45 equals 0. This is, I want the factors of 45, don't I? So I'm going to have 1 and 45. 2 won't work, 3 goes into 45, 3 and 15, 4 won't go, 5 will, 5 and 9, 6 won't divide into 45, 7 won't work, 8 won't work, I'm back to 9. This is all the factors of 45. I want to subtract and get 4. So I could do this and subtract and get 4, can I? So put the biggest factor first, the smallest factor second, And this sign goes in front of the biggest factor all the time. So what do you do to negative 9 to get a negative 4? I'm going to add 5, right? Negative 9 plus 5 is going to be a negative 4. The first term is x squared, so x times x is x squared, and these are my factors. So my factors are x minus 9 and x plus 5 equals 0. These are my factors. Now that I'm going to set them equal to 0 and solve, hopefully you know that positive 9 and negative 5 are your zeros, okay? The zeros and the factors are opposites. But if you need to, x minus 9 equals 0, x plus 5 equals 0. Move over the numbers. I'm going to plus 9. I'm going to minus 5. So my zeros will be x equals 9 and negative 5. Ho, 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 ho. F-U-N, fun, fun, fun. If we had that math taste meter, these problems would taste like a Cinnabon tenderloin. The middle part of a Cinnabon. You know, that's how you just put it in your mouth. You don't have to chew it. It just poosh. All that good stuff. A Cinnabon tenderloin. Keep going on. Let's go down to 13. Okay, on 13, the C is equal to 0 in there. There's no C term, is it? So that means the y-intercept is 0. That means the parabola goes to the origin. 0 will be one of my zeros, okay? So I can factor this by dividing out the GCF. The GCF here will be 2x. 2 is the largest number that goes into 8 and 10, and they both have x. So the 2x turns into my bluebell truck, or what I distribute by, and then divide, I'm going to get 4x plus 5, right? So I just factored out the GCF on this one, didn't I? Okay, these are my factors. Now then my zeros, remember 0 is going to be one of my zeros. I'm going to put 2x equals 0 and 4x plus 5 equals 0. If I solve this for 0, I will get 0. So this right here is one of my zeros, right? Write down n. Now then over here I'm going to subtract 5. 4x equals negative 5, divide by 4, and this right here will be my other zero. And negative 5 over 4. Notice the sign is plus, it switches to negative. This is my numerator and this is my denominator, right? The number in front of x is what you divide by, it's going to go on the bottom. This would trace to what, negative 1.25 or negative 1 1/4, right? Okay, let's go to 15. On 15, you can't do anything until it's solved for 0. So move the 36 over. You're going to subtract negative 36x from both sides. You'll get 9x squared minus 36x equals 0. Now I can solve it, can I? Notice that c is equal to 0, so the graph goes to the origin, doesn't it? That means one of my zeros will be 0. Now that on this one, we're going to factor out the GCF, and it's 9x. I could take 9x out of both of them, can I? The 9x will turn into my bluebell truck, or the number I distribute by, and I'm going to get x minus 4 on it. So my zeros, this will end up being 0, and the opposite of a negative 4 is a positive 4 in it. So my zeros are going to be x equals 0 and 4, right? Piece of cake. F-U-N, fun, fun, fun. Let's keep rocking and rolling on 17. On 17, there's no bx term, right? If there's no bx term, that means the vertex is just slid up or down. On this case, the vertex is at negative 49, and the intercepts will be opposites well through. The bx term moves it left or right. This parabola has not been moved left or right. It's been moved up or down. These are both perfect squares. So draw square root symbols, draw two parentheses. The square root of 16x is 4x, so put 4x and 4x. And the square root of 49 is 7 and 7. And remember, one factor will be plus and one will be minus. These are our factors. Now that if you solve these for 0, you're going to get 7 over 4, aren't you? So if you move over the 7 on both of them, one of them you're going to subtract 7, one of them you're going to add. You'll get 4x equals negative 7, 4x equals positive 7, then divide by 4. And notice your x-intercepts will be negative 7 over 4 and positive 7 over 4, which would be 1 3/4, wouldn't it, or 1.75. So if you were to graph this parabola and trace, these right here would be your intercepts, okay? And I think that's all we're going to do together, okay? You can finish the rest of this up on your own. If you have questions, please message your teacher. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Remember, you are amazing, you are created to do wonderful things, and you are awesome.